We on.
All right.
We are Wednesday morning, good to go. All in one place, all together.
Yes, we are.
Not separate. No CGI. We are, I guess I'm on that picture. That's all right. But yeah, we're actually on location today at Elements Distro, just like we taught the market last week.
Yeah.
But now we're in person.
Yep, Elements Distro is now our home for the day. So fantastic. Thanks for coming.
The biggest tour of all the cannabis product in the country.
Yep. So we're going to go over some notes. We're going to go more product, but we're going to look at the warehouse and show you how massive this place is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And growing.
So when you need distribution, you know where to come to.
Absolutely.
So since we're there for a minute, somebody's in Wyoming. They can distribute straight from you, right?
Yeah, we do
Doesn't matter.
nationwide. I'm even working with people that are outside the country. So literally international. So if anyone is even remotely close, that just means you get cheaper shipping.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
So, oh, you know what? Hold on. I thought my banner was there. Let me fix that. There we go. Now we got the website. We got the information. For those on IG, we will put that up later for you as well. And we'll make sure we put it on our socials so that you can always get in touch with this company for anything. And I do mean anything. They've got, we'll go over it out there. Clothing. You've got your CBD. You've got your hookahs. You've got your water bombs. You name it.
Yeah, we have over 20,000 different products, and we're adding 6,000 square feet at the end of this month. So we'll have even more. And our big focus is on keeping the market fresh, keeping people interested, trying new things, figuring out what is best for not only people to use as an individual, but also people to sell through that retail channel where their businesses are successful. So it's a full line of straight from manufacturer all the way down to where you guys could try yourselves.
All right. You see plenty of products back there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a full line. Some of the stuff is brand new from last week. So I brought in some of our mushroom gummies, the Amanita mushroom gummies that are completely legal in all 50 states. I've tried them. They say they're not psychedelic. That is an absolute lie. It is just for the packaging. But so that's just a mushroom. We also have mushrooms mixed with Delta products. So that's going to be in this Trippy brand here. And then we have, going over to the CBD side of things, we have our Koi brand, which has a pain relieving roll-on gel, which is extremely popular. And then they even have dog treats. So they've got pumpkin spice and cinnamon, green apple, peanut butter, and then blueberry and sweet potato. And just to give you guys a better kind of view there of what those dog treats look like, that's for over here, and then we have right there. And they're phenomenal. My dog loves them. She tried some of them last night, and she is a very picky eater. She's like on the keto diet. She only likes meat and cheese. So the fact that I could get her to eat those, I was all in. We have some new wraps that are coming in, our Runts wraps. We have 5 different flavors of those. We have our Packwoods wraps. So if you're looking for things that don't have those terpenes in them, these are 2 really solid options. The Runts have phenomenal flavors, and they're one of our favorite brands. And then the Packwoods are going to have 6 different flavors as well, and they are incredibly popular. We carry almost their whole line for the Packwoods brand as well.
All right.
Say anything else you like?
I mean, I guess the question is, what do we not like?
I mean, hey, you know,
it's here.
I even tried the dog treats myself last night. They're not that bad,
No?
so you could literally try everything.
So it's good with soup, you're saying?
Well, you know, super nuts.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
No, we got a lot of different stuff there, and I think, let's see, there's something in here, but I saw something the other day about some changes for the pets on it. I don't see it on the notes, but you know, you guys already have the line tested, ready to go, so you don't have that question.
And Koi is a very awesome brand as well. They have a full line of products. They're incredibly strict on their testing. And to go back to what you were mentioning last week about, you know, getting a recommendation from a vet, we absolutely recommend that. And a lot of those steps are taken by manufacturers of the products so that when you do what's called a COA, if you look at any of these packages, on the back, you're going to see there's a QR code. Right? There's a QR code right next to the barcode. And the QR code there is not for the website for information on the brand. It's actually called a COA, and it is a certificate of analysis. And that is actually the lab report for what is in there. So it's what is not only where it came from, but how much, where it's derived from, where the plant was grown. So all of those things go in there, and it has to be tested for every single batch. So every single batch that's produced, a new package has to be made with that new COA on that package. So there's really a lot that goes into this. I'm learning a lot. This is not stuff that I knew a few months ago. So it's incredibly awesome that people are really going out of their way from a company standpoint to make sure that your pets are safe as well as yourself in whatever you're going to try and take.
So is this something that would be considered a federal requirement, a state requirement, or is this just a standard operation for the businesses?
All of those.
Okay.
So, right, it's required by every step along the process. So whether it, manufacturing is going to have their requirements both federally and statewide and maybe even countywide about, when it comes to waste.
Okay.
All the way down to breaking down what's on the packaging, what's in the packaging, how it's distributed, where it's distributed. All those chains of commands have legality.
Okay.
For example, we can only ship as a distributor to an address that matches a business license that has a tobacco license for this industry. So it's not something where we even can lose that chain of command because that's our liability. Our liability is released once that company accepts it. Once that company accepts it, then, they have the liability. Once it goes from there, then the consumer has the liability. So it goes down the line as far as that chain of responsibility is concerned, but all along the way, there are requirements for us to follow.
Okay, that's wonderful.
But now, for example, we kind of talked about this a little bit last night. So this is vital for the consumer. So they have that information.
Mm-hmm.
But how vital is it for the manufacturer themselves? Because if they don't do this properly, they can lose rights to products, to be able to distribute it, to basically lose their whole business.
Yeah, lawsuits are crazy, right? And here we're really sue happy in the US. We even advertise for lawyers, and that's illegal in other countries.
Okay.
So every bus sign, I've seen homeless
Ads,
people with ads, like, hey, call this guy, he paid me $100. So when it comes down to it, it's incredibly responsible for those companies to do it. But there are companies that do fake those, right? So there are pitfalls, and we can put some of that information on your website just so people can see what it should say and what it should look like, and examples of authentic and non-authentic. Because it's an industry where, think about it, everyone started off as a drug dealer, and guess what? Drugs were illegal. So you're dealing with a lot of people in this business who, the reason they have the networking and connections that they have now is because those were their previous illegal buyers.
Right.
Now they're their legal buyers. And whereas previous people who were using, they couldn't say anything about it. It was very hush hush, and now it's out on the forefront. So as it becomes more mainstream, not only to take these things, but to talk about these things.
Well, and think about it too. There was a time where alcohol was illegal. So all of these liquor stores were not legal at one point. And we are not ready yet with this product across the nation like we are with alcohol, unfortunately.
I mean, it's crazy when you think about, how far we've come. I mean, even just since I was born, this is something where I'm not even 40 yet, and my life is completely different than my parents' life, which is completely different than my grandfather's. So when it boils down to it, there's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be someone who tries to get away with something. And sometimes they get caught, like what we're going to talk about with,
Yeah, we got a name that you all know that got caught big time.
Yeah.
Big time. We're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Yeah. So, there's always going to be consequences, but those consequences come from people pushing those boundaries. And that's also where innovation comes from. So while there is a lot of, people who are going to be very against these products, most of it is because of the stigma, and part of it is because of jealousy, because they're not in the game. And who's the biggest fan? The most jealous person.
Right.
They're your haters, or they're your strongest advocates sometimes, because they will push you to be, to push boundaries. They'll push you to go outside the box. So I think in that respect, we have a lot of opportunity in this industry to prove people right, but also prove them wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I told you this wasn't that bad. I told you it could help your grandmother with cancer. I
Yeah.
told you it could, help your dog not tear up your blinds when you leave the house. Like, I told you.
That sounds like a personal, like you've had that happen. So that was
I
your
mean, only a
experience.
few times. I mean, who hasn't had that happen, right? Squirrels are dangerous, and my dog was protecting me.
Yeah. So I mean, it just adds on to the testimonial what she was saying about the grandmother. I introduced my grandmother to CBD, and she's doing great. She's doing great. It total change from motor movements, memory, her pain management overall.
Just peace of mind.
Peace of mind. She's sleeping. Before she was not able to get a good night's rest. So of course her eyes would puff up as well.
Yeah.
When you don't get rest, they're down. She's feeling fine. I keep her with a regular regimen, so it's really cool.
And the positive part about this is not only does it work, it tastes good now.
Yeah.
Long gone are the days of, taking drugs and suffering through it, except for alcohol. We also have to do that still, but that's personal preference. But
Yes.
And these effects for your health are much better.
yeah, there's
than
a lot
any form
less
of alcohol.
detrimental. I mean, you still have the preservatives,
course.
you still have the food dyes, and a lot of those things that do, and you still have sugars in there that make it taste good, right?
Or even the I
fake
took too many
sugars.
milligrams, you didn't do proper dosage. I mean, all that's gonna be factors, of course.
Yeah, but when it comes down to product quality, availability, and variety, I mean, we are in uncharted waters right now with how many options we have and how awesome those options are. The only thing that people are still afraid of, right, is what is the long-term effects. All you got to do is ask somebody from the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, even beyond that, I mean, it was
60s,
Native American
70s,
thing.
right? And well, yeah, and now think about that. We have filters. We
Right.
have, the FDA. Even though I don't like them all the time, we have them. But, it's something where we do have those checks and balances in place to really be able to have as much safety as necessary while still having enough innovation as we possibly can.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to say we haven't touched the surface, but in some regards, we haven't touched the surface yet.
No, I mean, there's, I think, 110, I'm probably off on that number because more get discovered every day, cannabinoids, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of went over the list of some of those last time. And we're still seeing a huge push for more.
Mm-hmm.
The more they distill that, the more that cannabinoids they're going to discover, and the more they discover, the more that they're going to put in products and see how they react. And then as those products react well, that's where they're going to get released into the market for us to use. So unlike alcohol, where it is one molecule that can be divided in different flavors,
right.
And everything from moonshine down to
Your seltzers.
yeah,
And really-
Semas in the past, man.
Yep.
Put a Jolly Rancher in that thing. You
Right.
took your whole life in college. But yeah.
But now we are able to have classes in school. So the more people that are going to learn, they're going to want to learn even
Well,
more.
it can be
and they're
involved in
gonna grow.
chemistry.
Correct.
This is something where I loved science as a kid, and I always felt like I was being, picked on for liking it. And the beakers came out, and you see all these crazy, things. And now I know people in this industry who that's what they do is they develop products, and they develop flavors, and they take feedback from the people who are using them, which is why we encourage everyone who takes products to talk about those products. Whether it's to the person you're buying them from, giving them your testimonials and your feedback, whether it is the website of the manufacturer or of the distributor like myself, all of those things, we can tell what sells. But when it comes to two high-selling products and why someone likes those over the others, this isn't an industry where we have focus groups.
Right.
So,
Right.
you need a whole bus to drive people home if there's focus groups on these products.
But like what we were discussing earlier, you got to remember too, it's a personal preference.
It
Like
is.
you talked about with Koi. Koi's an outstanding product.
Mhm.
Cherry's one of their big flavor sellers. To me, I'm not a fan of the cherry.
Tastes
I like the
cough
blue
syrup
rasp,
to you, yeah.
but that's okay.
Mhm.
My palate is not a cherry palate, and that's fine. That's why they have options. That's why they have flavors and choices.
So you're saying you cherry pick?
Yeah, basically.
Pretty
much.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be preferences on.
Oh, there's the
every-
sour cherry now. Actually, now I think about it,
Oh yeah,
I
is
see
it
it. The
really?
Koi. Yep.
Yeah.
And
right
that Delta 8 gummy is phenomenal. To me, I'm not a sour cherry fan, but that's okay.
here. Yeah. I think that's one of the benefits of this industry is you can love something
Mhm.
and someone else can hate it, and
Yeah.
someone can love something and you can hate it. You have the same thing in alcohol. I hate tequila. I used to sell it and I still don't like it.
Right.
But no, you take shots at 10 a.m. and see if you like it.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
fun. Yeah.
But it's the same idea even when it comes to a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
You
All
might
the
like the
toppings.
Supreme. I might like cheese. Sam might like having the all meat pizza. It's still pizza.
Mm-hmm.
We still like the basic. We just have our own preference on what we want on it.
Yep.
And there's your preference and your choice and your options.
Yep.
All here.
Yep. Yeah. We'll give you the basis of your bread, cheese, and sauce, and then you pick your flavor.
Doesn't mean that it's not a pizza anymore. It doesn't mean that it can't reach a mass audience.
Mhm.
We just may not like the same, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any of the chocolate infused CBD products as well?
We don't have a lot of chocolate right now. So people's chocolate production, as well as their mushroom production, has had some exponential growth. So if you think about it, we didn't have access to China for 2020, 2021, and most of 2022. We just now, really in the last half of 2022 and early this year, have really been able to get back into those manufacturing facilities in China and start to produce again. And you I think we all learned about supply chain. We all learned about, the delivery system and how long it really takes and where our products really come from. And a lot of our products come from China.
Okay.
And that's, which is angry, to some people, but to other people, they realize that it's a better bang for our buck, right? We don't want to pay for American labor. So now that we have access to those places, a lot of those chocolates and a lot of those products, all of these products almost behind me are still made in China in some respect. So that production, because we didn't have it for so long, there wasn't a slow trickle into the market. So now what's happening, all these products, like our Purple brand, for example, our mushroom gummies, they do taste the best, I swear. I've tried them all. They come into stock and then they immediately go out of stock. And because we can't replenish that, it's this wax and wane of inventory, no inventory, inventory, no inventory. A lot of producers are facing that.
Okay.
So over the next few years, you'll see a lot more products have a lot more consistency in their stock. I'm sure that's why you can't find the chocolate, right? So as those processes get fixed, and hopefully as we have more manufacturing here in the U.S., we'll be able to move those things to where we don't have that boat delay for a month from, overseas.
In addition to that, I mean, you just got to think about the tariff tax. That's
It's huge.
It goes up,
Yeah, and China is not.
President Trump, when he was in, made sure that go up.
Yeah.
And then you got the states here who still have not came on board with legalizing it. When the Farm Act was passed, hey, come on, get on board. But the Fed still did not give a full cause of action for it to be legal across the board. So we're still dealing with a gift and a curse.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, it's definitely a gift, that's for sure. But the curse is just figuring out things that we've never really had to figure out in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that stigma, I mean, there's like FedEx, for example, they won't allow us to do claims if our packages are broken into. And if someone figures out you got a smoke shop,
Right.
I send a package every week and, it has the
Oh,
same
gosh.
box, the same
Right.
tape.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that you're a smoke shop and they know you sell products that are, Delta products. I had someone in Alabama who got broken into and they,
that's
at a
funny.
package of 8 products, they only got 2.
And you can't even hold them responsible.
You can't, no.
that's it.
And because if FedEx finds out that that's what we ship, they won't allow us to do a claim. So we have to then replace that product ourselves instead of holding FedEx and their driver accountable.
Right.
Wow.
So, there's still those things that we run into as well. And this happens in other industries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to work in a completely different industry selling sewing machines of all things.
Mhm.
And we had to fight FedEx all the time. There would be drivers who'd leave things out in the rain and they were never held responsible for a $30,000 machine being left out in the rainstorm.
Oh, gosh.
So these are things that we not only face in this industry, but others, but because of that stigma, they won't they won't even entertain our defense.
Right.
So you still have that, and then the shop owner, if the distributor is not like us and they don't take personal responsibility and replace those products, that shop owner, he's then out and he has to repurchase.
Mhm.
And we can't really use the most discreet packaging when we've already got a brown box and white tape.
Right.
What do you want?
Then you might have to throw a DBA on there so that way they don't know.
It's still, I don't think that would prevent it if it's going to the same address from the same address. So.
That's true.
Well, and the thing too, here's your basic economic lesson there. If FedEx is not going to support that claim, now you have lost product. So you've got to raise product margin to recreate that loss. And that's where people have issues.
Yeah, it's raising the cost, or we don't have product available because we're replacing it all the time.
Especially if it's a minimal, hard to find product.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which this one happened to be. So.
Oh gosh.
And
That's a huge
the driver, he just thinks, sweet, I scored some
Yeah.
stuff.
Hey, this is now mine. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I don't have the.
And what's even crazier? This is a real story, so I won't say who, but this is a real story. So the product that was stolen was going to a nursing home for a cancer patient to help us sleep. I'm not kidding.
Right.
And I mean, and so like I was more than happy to be like, here's a replacement. But not everyone in the industry is able to operate at that capacity. If you've got a smaller shop and a smaller distributor and like that buyer, I mean, he's going through a pack and a half, I think, every day, and this is 20 gummies. So like he's going through 30 a day, and they're 200 to 300 milligrams each. So like they're pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
he needs those or else he's SOL.
Well, and then taken to the fact too, and this is like any other form of a medication, the residual, the buildup in the body is what makes it take effect.
Yeah.
So now if he's
You're
waited,
losing that,
unfortunately, correct, too long to get another supply, and now he's having to get an additional another supply because it's gone, that's gone out of his body, he's got to rebuild again. Start all over almost.
So it's, there are challenges still, right? There's challenges with shipping, there's challenges with delivery, there's challenges with getting in product. But the good news is that we don't really have any empty space on our shelves. So
saw that out there today. And what they do, it's only because they're bringing in more product. Because the supply is so much in demand that they're bringing in additional product now.
Yeah, we have new brands we bring in every single week. And it's something we try to stay on the cutting edge because there are so many new things. And also it goes back into the business side of it. You don't want something to sit on a shelf because then your real estate is not being as well managed as possible.
Right. Your marginals have all gone off because it's sitting here waiting. But I did notice something interesting now we're out of the season. The CBD dog treats. Pumpkin spice.
That's right.
So October, November.
All you white girls and your dogs, this is for us.
I mean, think about it. That right there, your
Do you
supply
have a
would
poodle?
be huge.
Pumpkin spice poodle.
September to December, that product better be high in demand and high supply because imagine the girls getting Starbucks and then having these afterwards.
I mean, look, just because we're called bitches doesn't mean we're dogs.
No, but hey, you said it was good. You said you tried it. It's consumable for the individual, the person as well, not just the pets. That's the first time I've seen that flavor.
When I met the Koi rep 2 days or yesterday, was it yesterday? God, it's today only Tuesday. No, it was Monday. My days we get mixed up. But yeah, I met him on Monday and I was like, wait, so like are the dog treats like person edible too? And he was the one who told me, so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I tried bacon strips when I was a kid. I thought it was bacon.
Hey, my nephew had just straight out of the dog bowl one day. So hey, he's still here. So I say go for it. Green apple peanut butter. That would probably be pretty good. Blueberry sweet potato. I don't know. I mean, I guess, but that's what I love. There's so many different flavors.
Well, it depends on. So if you.
I noticed that calcium support.
Yeah. So this
support.
is calming support. So this is for your anxious dog. You've got joint support, which is going to be for your older dogs.
Right.
And then you've got immune support. So a lot of dogs, not only people, have allergies, especially this time of year. So
somebody right here in the room, good example.
Yeah, so that's vitally important to have that option for your dog because it is immune booster.
Right.
So just like we take our vitamins and everything, they need theirs too. So it's not just a treat that's gonna help them chill out a little bit. It's also gonna do something a little bit more than that. So that's where it's not just about the CBD itself. It's about what kind of CBD, how
Mhm.
much, and then how they formulate that for each specific batch.
Right. Now, something I was thinking, looking at that on the joint support, and we talked about having to speak with your vet, which is highly important. I know on personal experiences that Cocker Spaniels, for example, have hip dysplasia as they get older. So that would definitely help. But my thought is, and of course, like I said, a vet would have to tell you this. So if hip dysplasia starts with the dog at, say, age 5, I don't know. I wonder if they started this around age 3 or 4, if that would help that from possibly taking effect. Like I said, that's something to ask a vet, but that's how important these ideas are, that it can help your pet before you get to that point where I'm in trouble. Now what do I do?
Yeah. By the way, no one listened to me. It says not for human consumption on the back. I just don't follow rules. Well, so if you start taking anything, right, any kind of vitamin, the longer you take that vitamin, the better it's going to be.
Right.
So if you think about glucosamine and chondroitin for humans, right, if they start taking this, just like if you start taking glucosamine and chondroitin, it's going to help you regardless of what, your level of deterioration is in those joints. I mean, I've had joints, issues before, #ACL last 2 years ago. So if you start taking those things, it's going to help you.
Right.
Even in when what doesn't help you, you will discard. That's the reason why we have bottoms. So like if you don't need it, you may overtake, but you can't really undertake something like that. So again, just go by your recommendation by your vet and your doctor, whether it's for you or for them, whatever product we're talking about. But these are definitely going to be something I would recommend, and they're extremely popular. I fought to get those products in here because we know the brand, we like the products, and they're very popular, and we know that they sell.
Well, that's the thing too. Coy goes all the way across from, like you saw here, the disposable vape up to the dogs, to the gummies. I mean, I don't even know everything Coy has because their brands are.
Yeah, we've also got
Mercy's
Delta
huge.
products as well. So we've got the CBD Complete gummies here. So this is going to be a full spectrum gummy. They've got all kinds of different flavors, and it's 750 milligrams of CBD and 150 milligrams of the Delta products. So great for having full spectrum. The reason full spectrum is important is because if you think about back in the 70s when we first started smoking weed, it was not just THC. There was a big portion of it that was CBD. Now what we've done is because we've isolated those molecules and we've done all this distillation, we've completely removed the CBD from our Delta products. If you look on our shelves now, we don't really have a lot of full spectrum outside of these. So what is important about CBD is that is where that nervous system really gets affected by taking the CBD products. So that's where you have that calming effect. And because it attaches to your CB1 receptors in your nervous system. That's how cannabinoids work, right? We talked a little bit about that last week. So with this, if you're looking for something that's going to be more calming, but still give you a little goofy, maybe you have some joints, issues. Maybe you have some anxiety. Maybe you have other things. You don't want to take a full-blown Delta product because you don't want to pass out. Maybe you're really sensitive to it. That's where this full spectrum really comes in, is allowing yourself to have the CBD and the Delta so that you get the full effect of the product line and of those cannabinoids. So that's what that's for.
Well, and again, too, look at the flavor there: pineapple, pomegranate, and grape.
Yeah, they're really good flavors.
I mean, it's something that's not going to just do well for you, but you don't mind taking it.
Yeah.
It's not like these.
It's not like a
horse
vitamin.
pills where it's,
Yeah.
I need to flush this down, get it out of my system real quick, follow it up with something that.
I'm one of those weird people. I can take like 15 pills and like over my throat and just drink something real quick and go down. But if I have one pill with no water,
right?
Never gonna happen.
I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had to take NyQuil, and every time I took that sip, it's like, okay, something else, just get that flavor out.
I always need a chaser for
something,
medicine.
Right? Exactly.
Maybe that's why alcohol started with chasers, because you don't like the taste of it.
Acquired taste.
I mean, I guess.
Acquired. I don't know who acquired it besides alcoholics, but not me.
Right?
Alcohol, I have to.
I was gonna say, probably
Sorrow, alcohol.
Right? Probably grabbed a couple of these because we need to go get out that warehouse in a few minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot back there, but just a couple things. Oklahoma, I don't know if you saw this or not. The initiative to legalize the adult use marijuana failed by a wide margin. The no vote won every county in the state. It was closer in Tulsa Tulsa than Oklahoma, but you know,
Every county.
every county said no. I don't even know exactly how many counties are out
To
there, but
adult
every one.
legalization.
Yes.
Wow. Man, that's not what I would have expected. Every county? Like there wasn't one rebel?
In the sky.
Who
Well,
held a gun to whose head for that?
But at the same point, we talked about it, how when you have states that have more native tribes, a lot of times you see those numbers go up. Oklahoma has a good bit. You're seeing no across the board.
Yeah,
That's a shocker.
that is a shocker.
Complete shocker. And then you got an update here on the pardon applications. Last week, the DOJ is accepting applications of pardons of individuals with charges or convictions, like we said, of the simple possession in federal or District of Columbia courts. And in other DOJ news, the attorney, Garland, indicated the department is reviewing the cannabis policy.
Hey, if the
How much that gonna
Attorney
help?
General,
Could help.
General is reviewing it, then I'm all for it because that seems like a positive.
Well, and at the same point, let's also hope that by reviewing these things, now you don't have to do that brown package, and maybe the shipping could be better to these companies, to these individuals.
Yeah, right. We could actually do claims. I mean,
That wouldn't it? That also could go back to the safe banking, but that's been a horse that we've been hitting for a while,
Anybody who's looking for transportation, you got an idea.
right? Well, absolutely.
Transportation and all the CBD product.
Yep.
mhm.
And then New York launched its retail cannabis market, started with one dispensary. Now it looks like it'll increase. The state will double the number of licenses from 150 to 300 statewide. And it's going to be an applicant pool.
Mm.
One dispensary, now we're going to be up to almost 300 possibly
Love it.
statewide. New York's
Yeah.
not a huge state.
Well, it's because everybody's all high strung up there. I'm excited for this. Maybe New York will get nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you try.
They can't get anywhere.
I got to be careful because I still got a lot of family up there. So, but I get what you're saying. And Hawaii, how about this number though? Adult use fared much better than Aloha State than Oklahoma. Legalization bill passed the Hawaii Senate 22-3 in a vote.
Wow.
Now it's going to go to the House, and if approved, which they're saying the governor, Josh Green, is likely to sign it. So now you could go sit on your beach and
Love that.
sit there and have it.
And
They
you're in
already do
paradise.
it.
So you get,
Right.
you get the best of both worlds there.
And I think that as soon as this
And
gets
they got
passed,
plenty of land
we
to
need to
grow
go
out
out
there
there.
too.
Oh, like, yeah.
That's the other thing is Hawaii is very undeveloped. Like I was just out there or last year, yeah, last January, and I mean you drive through. Now, granted, I was in a very heavy lava flow area, but if they can figure out how to farm those areas in Hawaii, and then that would be a lot of jobs for people because pineapple farms.
Mhm.
That is a lot of jobs out there, but a pineapple plant, I don't know if you guys know this, a pineapple plant takes 6 years to make one pineapple.
On pineapple. So you're already at a loss for 6 to 7 years.
6 to
before
7
you can
years
even
of crops
hope.
that you're not getting jack other
Right.
than just taking care of something and waiting for the payoff.
Oh.
So in that 6 years, while they're waiting for those new plants to flower and to bloom, this could be a huge opportunity for those farms to have other crops, you know, in areas that may not be well suited for pineapple production because they need a lot of space. Each one of those plants is like as big as this table.
Right. Well, think about it too. Pineapple and Kona coffee are your two exports from Hawaii. And a lot of times when people think about it, they think of Hawaii as the main island, not the chain of islands.
Yeah.
So the other chain of islands have tons of space to grow.
Yep.
You know?
I was on Kona, so I got to go to some of the coffee plants and everything, and they're very hilly, right?
Yes.
They're on a lot of hills, and so it's very hard for the terrain is not easy
No.
out there.
Yeah.
And Kona coffee is delicious.
I
so
love
if
it.
we could
Now I
get
want
like
some.
Kona weed.
Right? But the one question I have before we go to the next article though is, have you ever wondered though, why does Hawaii have interstates?
Yeah, that's a really good question. They can't go between states.
No. So it's not technically an interstate, it's a highway, but it's called an interstate.
Maybe it's an interstate, INER,
I
not
maybe.
inter,
I'd have
but
to
inner,
look.
like it's in.
I mean, you might be right.
The interior of the state.
You might be. Now here's something we talked about a while ago. North Dakota. Medical marijuana dispensaries in North Dakota now can sell up to 6,000 milligrams of THC to patients every 30 days. And remember, we talked about how they were against
Break
almost
that
all
down.
of
How many
this.
grams is that? I'm not good at math.
I'm not either, honestly, I can tell you. But The change stems from the House approved last week to increase 400 milligrams every 30 days.
4,000.
Or 4,000, you're right. See, I probably have these on the double check. The bill will now go to the governor, according to radio station out of Fargo, which remember, Fargo's not big, not a lot of people. So this is going to be a huge measure for them. And the measure passed the Senate in January, said to increase what needs to become some patients' regular higher dosage of THC to treat conditions such as pain, and just like what we're talking about, the one who used it for sleep.
Yeah.
So North Dakota, we talked about how they are mostly against this. This is a big step for them.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
That is huge.
Because they denied the recreational. They have an opioid problem up there right now. It's huge. It's one of the worst in the nation.
Yeah, well, that's probably why they're pushing it through, is because a lot of those people and a lot of those patients, you know, I mean, addiction is something that hits close to home for me, especially opiates. I mean, my brother just got over, I think he's almost 8 months clean now. He was out for 6 years and it was back pain. He was a registered nurse and he, you know, he suffered, I mean, really bad. And it wasn't just because of his pain. It was because of, you know, the ability that he had to access it, not just as a nurse, but as an individual.
Right.
And he was a very long time, you know, user of weed before that, but because of his job, he couldn't. And, you know, if you have an addictive personality, then you can't stop that. It is a disease. Your brain doesn't fire how other people's fire without that need for that glitch to be fixed. So the fact that people are using this as a way to fix themselves without being completely dependent and without destroying their bodies and regaining their lives is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going back to school now and it's only been 7 months and he already applied. So it's like, it doesn't take long to get someone in recovery, but it does take a lot of effort to keep them there.
Right.
So I think North Dakota is going in the right direction. We used to have a ginormous opiate problem here. I mean, they did the Buckhead Triangle movie about it.
Well, think about it too. It's bitterly cold up there. So if you've got pain to begin with, that cold's going to intensify that.
Yeah.
When I was up there
That's a good point.
a few years back, it never got above 5 degrees. Okay. The day that I left was negative 60 with the wind chill.
I didn't go for that.
The plane, the landing gear froze on approach. And we love how Hartsfield's set up, right? All right, you go to where you've got to go, you go down, you get right on the plane, right? No, North Dakota, you walk down the stairs onto the tarmac, up onto the plane.
They don't have a jet bridge?
Oh, no.
No, there's no jet bridge.
What?
You're just,
Oh, I guess the gears would probably get frozen in the jet bridge, huh? That's probably why they don't do it.
well, think about it
Instead,
too.
your little leggies are going to freeze.
Right. So your distribution, your office space here is 3 times the size of that airport.
Yeah, but the planes are also a lot smaller.
Yeah, they do the CRJs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had
Well,
to
it's
fly
easier
from
to
Minnesota.
de-ice them probably.
True. I had to fly from
They're
Minnesota
they're
there.
a lot smaller, so it doesn't make sense to put a plane when you're only traveling.
Well, they don't have that many people
50
either.
to 75 people. Yeah, so it's.
And the airport is right behind the Walmart.
That's what I call a puddle jumper.
So
Wait.
yeah. I mean, when
Get your
you're
snacks for the airport.
when you're turning, you don't even see the town until you're probably maybe 800 feet from landing.
Whoa.
All you see is barren desert, and you're thinking, I'm out here to die. They're gonna do me like Sons of Anarchy.
Is this the
I'm gonna be
Northern
done.
Deliverance or what?
Right, pretty much. All right, so we're gonna finish with the big news
This
from
is
the
my
White House.
favorite part.
Jay-Z and his cannabis company.
Da-da-da.
So one, how many people knew he was involved? Because like you've got products out there from T.I. to Quavo to you name it. A lot of these guys are
Yeah,
involved.
Lil
Stupid
Durk,
or
my
not.
bad, yeah.
Jay-Z announced it, and you remember Beyonce had gotten into it as well. So that was
So his cannabis brand Monogram is facing multiple layered lawsuits. The company allegedly illegally shipped marijuana from California to New York. First, like what we talked about, the shipping. Falsified financial reports and exhibit gender discrimination. Kathy Claim, the former policies from San Francisco Gate, reports TPCO claims allegations in the lawsuit are false. That's what they're trying to say.
So that sounds like somebody's upset.
Very much.
Well, here's the issue though. If they can prove, because going back to that COA, right? That
Right.
certificate of analysis, that's how they can prove where it came from. All you have to do is show your lab reports of where it was grown and everything
Right.
else. If they can't prove it was done in New York and they can't prove that they got approval to move that product from one place to the other, that's where it's not just a federal issue, it's a state to state, because
Correct.
going back to
Yeah.
your question about, does this matter at the state level, county, at the city level, at the, the federal level, it counts everywhere.
Right.
So that's where, if this is true, then he could be in a whole host of, issues.
Well, the Security Exchange Commissions states that lays claims to 11 cannabis locations in California, provides over 650 people with jobs. Now, Hope serves as the chief visionary officer of TPCO. So, of course, he's going to be in the forefront. It's going to be his name, even though it's the whole company. Due to his and Rocco Nation's association via Monogram, the company does not comment on active litigation and plans to defend itself strongly against these false accusations. Now, do you remember this? He had another lawsuit. You remember that? All right, we're going to get that one in just a minute. The vice president of the parent company, which houses Monogram, made the allegations in February via the lawsuit. Now, think about that. The vice president of the parent company, so basically the company is suing one of its own members.
That's why I said somebody's upset.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now that's where it starts going into it. Clay stated that Monogram treated her unfairly due to her gender and then took action against her before they filed.
After she
Sorry, right.
reported it.
Reported these financial discrepancies and violations of the state cannabis. Jay-Z now was also involved in this one. Multiple legal battles in 2023 in February. Hove and Bacardi were able to reach the settlement over his Douce brand.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already had one. So the question is, what was the argument with Douce?
Well, once again,
Kind of wonder about that one too.
that's inside all day.
Correct.
Because inside jobs on two levels. If someone controls the legalities in a company, and then just so happens to not be happy with either said conversation, said compensation, totally you can go left. And I mean, I just don't. In my opinion, when you're dealing with very big brands like Douce was built out of scratch.
Yeah.
I used to sell it back in 2014. I remember when it first came out. I had a case in my house. That stuff was good.
So you just got to think that brand, Jay-Z attached himself to it, and he built that brand from the ground up. Pretty much everything that he's doing. I don't see him, even though he is a former drug dealer.
Right.
Everybody in this business is, so it's not that big of a deal.
That doesn't necessarily mean that he's out there to try to do business wrong. I think that there's somebody in the organization that's just either an unhappy
Well, it sounds like
camper.
it's that Clay lady. If she's the one who's saying that, there was sexual discrimination, but it's also, I think that they came after her after she said that there were financial discrepancies. So
Trying to discredit her.
they could be trying to discredit her, or they could be trying to cover it up. But now that it's out there, she did her job, right? She lost her job probably, but she did her job in order to expose it.
Mhm.
Now it's just up to the courts and everyone else to determine whether she was right or not. And I'll be interested to see how this turns out, because a whistleblower, most of the time, they are fought against. They are not fought for. They are silenced. They are paid off. They are hurt. So, all of these things, I'll be curious to see what happens in the aftermath of this. And if she, what her move is next. There's a lot of chess pieces on this board.
Yeah. It's going to take months for this to even begin to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could be in litigation and dragged out to the court system for months or years, to be honest.
Yep.
So, because how long was he in a battle with Bacardi and Douce? That wasn't just this year. That's probably been for a few years.
I mean, Douce came out in 2014,
Right.
So there's no telling how long that took.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I know it was a brand new brand of mine when I was working in liquor in 2014. So.
And if you're going to go into that route of the cognacs, I prefer that one over Hennessy all day. But that, again, personal preference.
Yeah.
True. Now we got something we're about to walk back there, but I want you to bring this up.
So,
Tell us a little bit about the what's going on in Alabama.
So Alabama has just made a very bold move. So a lot of California residents and buyers have told me, and there's legislation out there to prevent a lot of the flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So the tobacco, the fake flavors, and it's because their justification is that children will see these packages and they'll think that it's a child approved product.
Like the Rice Krispie that we saw last week,
Mhm.
for example.
Exactly. So, and the more products that you have, the more you're going to have these kind of issues coming up. So Alabama, one of the people that I spoke with this week, she said that Alabama Board of Alcohol, Alabama Beverage Control, ABC Board. An ABC Board person came to her shop, gave her a letter that said that they are no longer to carry anything that has a food name on it. So when we talk about the cookies brand, no mas. When we talk about anything that has cake, anything that has cookies, anything that has a food product in it, like for example, there's a brand called Food God. Everything is labeled after food. They can't carry that anymore. They can't carry something that has a banana or a strawberry or any kind of food flavor.
Like this right here, right?
Pink lemonade,
Mm-hmm.
like that's considered a food. So I don't know if it's a juice necessarily. No, that's completely.
Okay,
no,
because it
fine.
says mushroom. That's why I was wondering. So there is some possible legal room and
Well,
movement
and
on it,
also-
but
Yeah, and it's more talking about like the packaging. So the reason behind this, and it's not just the exterior packaging, it's the interior as well. So a lot of the boxes you'll see back here, they'll have the bags inside that have a little bit more branding on them. Some of the packaging is almost identical on the inside and outside. So if you have just an individual juice, for example, and that juice, the vape juice, has that, lemon cake on it, on just that actual, not the interior packaging, that's what they're most concerned about a child finding and thinking
Absolutely.
and drinking or whatever.
like this one back here that says banana cream.
Exactly. So I've got a whole host of them back here that have examples of what has now changed. So there are going to be these things happening. They're going to make adjustments that, or there's adjustments that need to be made. It goes right back into the whole, you could tie this back even to the whole Tide Pods, right? They look like candy. It becomes a TikTok trend. People were licking frogs a few years ago to get high, silly teenagers.
Well, that comes from the fable. If you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince, so hey.
I don't think anybody found a prince. I think they found a price tag at an ER.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things that are happening, and there's a lot of legislation that gets changed. And as those things change, we change our focus, right? So if there's buyers that can't buy those products, then we find other things for them to buy. So that's why it's really crucial to be involved with a very good distributor,
Right.
because they will take those actions and make moves for you, so that when you call someone like us, we'll tell you, hey, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. Like there's a brand called Juice Head. They make everything. We found out they can carry those, but they can't carry Food God. And so like those are things that as these legislations happen, we do our back end research. We make sure that we have the best products that you can sell and that people can, safely consume.
That's important. Very important.
So I guess we
Take
should
the
go look at your
show on the
warehouse.
road.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right.
So Sarah, if you want to carry the little iPad there so we can keep going on Instagram. Now my only thing is, and I'm not sure, I don't know if I can switch the camera here.
Should be able to.
I think so, but I don't know. Let's turn that off. All right, hold on. So we might have to do one of these where it's being held like this, but hey, that's all right.
Yeah. No
However
problem.
we got to do it.
All right. Follow me.
Well, here, I'll do it this way. I'll kind of.
All right, guys, come on in.
Lead through. So you show me where you'd like to go, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so we'll start over here. So as we kind of get to this part of the warehouse, you're going to see a lot of different products. Of all of the, there we go. So everything down on this aisle is going to be our Delta products, our CBD products, and a lot of our different smokable products in our vapes. So if you just want to focus kind of over here. So as we look here, these are going to be a lot of our Delta 8, Delta 10 disposables. So they're going to be anywhere from 2 grams up to, I think we have our highest is 5. Right here, we're going to have a lot of our different, the blunts. So these are going to be also those ones that we talked about last week that are going to be infused So they have infused papers, and then you've got that Delta 8 in the blunt itself. So that's what that's going to be. And we've got all kinds of different flavors here. We've got some of our gummy candies down there, more of those the infused joints. And then this is where we get to a lot of our different Delta products here. So we have our Medusa brand. We have our, once we get past that, we've even got things that'll help you in the bedroom right here. More of our vapes back in here. We've got, if you look down here, these are our just CBD products. So these are going to be just CBD. They don't have any of the Delta in them. So we've got 250 milligrams, and then we've got 500 milligrams as well. So just to give you an idea of what those flavors are.
And there's your gummy bears, gummy worms.
Yep, all the popular flavors we have. And then if you turn over to this side, this is where you're going to start getting some more of the herb products. So this is a different brand. All of these are vegan as well, if that matters to the audience. And then past those herb, the vegan gummies, we've got some more of their the smokables, the THC, and the vapes, and then more gummies down here. The nice thing about these FGN gummies is that these actually will list sativa or indica right here. So a lot of those don't list that anymore, which is nice because a lot of the strains really don't have a differentiator. We see the Hidden Hills we talked about last week. We have those flavors here. And then we also have their vapes as well. 3 Cheese, a really popular brand that we have for us. And then these are also another vegan option, the True Moolah. So we've got those two. And we've got all the different flavors and everything of those. One we didn't talk about last week, but that is here in our warehouse, is going to be the Nerd Ropes. So these are really popular, great for traveling. So if you needed to go on vacation or anything, we sell those in. They've got the THC in them, so they've got the Delta 9, and they're going to be 100 milligrams for those.
And now I was going to say, without that being listed as the name, I'm sure that's one of those things they're talking about too with what they're saying in Alabama, because they look like a Nerd Rope. And if a child loves them but doesn't take heed to the packaging. Exactly.
So that's going to be this aisle for us. The next thing that I'm going to show you is our glass, because it's quite impressive. So we have 3 different rows of glass. We've got these, which are going to be our larger pieces here. So we've got the Social brand that we carry. We've got the Cheeks brand. We've got gas masks.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
You got the gas mask over there.
And there's all the different, what is it, suicide squad?
I was going to say, looking all down here.
Yep. And so these are going to be like all of our larger items. The larger items here, we're going to have probably about over 100, maybe more than that. It just depends. But if you include all the different colors, it's definitely more than that. With individual pieces, yeah. And we try not to repeat things as much as possible unless they're incredibly popular. So most of the time you're going to see brand new items in here every month as they develop new designs, and we're going to
Halloween.
Yep. Yeah. We've got everything you could possibly think of.
So you can make these seasonal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most people have a lot of different glassware at their house, so the next aisle is kind of exciting as well. This is when we were talking about earlier. We were talking about the Quavo brand. So he's got the 3,000 count puff here, the 10 count display. So this is going to be 5% nicotine. They also have 0 nicotine as well. So a lot of people are trying to quit smoking. These are a great product for that, because it'll give you the same sensation but without that nicotine or any Delta. So it's just going to be the flavor. Look at these pipes over here. These are really cute. I mean, the level of detail that goes into these is kind of phenomenal. I mean, even Spider-Man's popping out of the house right there.
Well, and like right down here, these are perfect for Hawaii.
Oh, there you go.
Sitting on the beach. I mean, come on.
There you go. And so this is going to be some of our smaller pipes over here, some of our more intricate glassware. And then if you look over here, there's even more. So it's completely a full aisle of just glassware. Anything you can see. intricate. And a lot of these are going to be mass made, so they're all going to have individual little quirks about them. Some are going to be lean a little bit different, some are going to be taller than others. So even though they are mass produced, they still have their own individual qualities, which is kind of nice. And these right here, if you see this liquid that's in there, this liquid is actually used to put in the freezer, and so it gives it an ice effect. Okay. So that when you actually use this pipe, as it goes through here, it cools it off through this liquid. And then so when you're taking your puff out of there, it actually tastes a lot colder. So it gives it an icy effect or an icy hot effect.
And as you see, it comes from the mind of Cheech.
It does.
Of course.
Cheech and Chong, the best. And then over here, this is where our silicone starts. So if someone is not very good at keeping things unbroken, or if you have animals around,
cats, dogs, right?
Cats are notorious for breaking glass and knocking things off counter, so silicone is always a good option. And this is a nice one. This actually, if you look at this, expands. So you can store it and put it back, and it doesn't take up as much room on your shelf. And then another thing that we carry is going to be incredibly important, all of your detox. So when people do a lot of the products, you're going to want to, if you have to take a drug test or if you have to get it out of your system, this is just going to help you do that. So we have our Stinger line here that goes all the way down, anti-buzz. We've got some cleaning, right? You need all your cleaning systems for all your different formulas and everything else. Clean out your system, clean out your carbs. And then you have all the different pieces and parts as well. So if someone does need to take a detox, I definitely recommend those. They're also good for doing a hard reset if you've smoked, a lot for years and years. And then you've got more lovely glass over here. And these are going to be moving into our smaller glass pipes. Got some really creepy ones though. Like, look at this dude. He's it's a very, very interesting guy. Each their own. A lot of people collect these as well. And then down here we've got a lot of our hand pipes are going to be down there. We've got a lot of our accessories and our grinders, and then we've even got clothing and blankets back here down this aisle. So these are everything from rugs and backpacks to t-shirts, stash cans, blankets, you name it. More of the apparel is here, and then this is our accessory aisle that we have. You've got the smell-proof koozies and jars. You've got the different rolling trays. Some have covers, some don't. Some have little places to store things, some don't. And then in the back is where you have all of your hookah supplies. And then those continue over to where our hookah glass is as well.
So if it's something you need, you guys can pretty much distribute it to you and no issues.
Yeah, and the best part about it is if people see something that they don't have, that we don't have, we can get it. And if they have something that they want, then we can try to source it for them. So we really do want to be a one-stop shop for people and give them as many options as possible. And then for those hookah lovers, we have every single flavor that you could possibly want. We've got 4 different brands of the hookah flavors, and they go all the way down here. And then this is where we get into our hookah glass. So as you see here, we start off with, our troopers, and then we kind of move down. We've got some skulls. We've got some other little fancy ones. All of your smell-proof things are over here. So if you're looking for an odor eliminator, we have every single flavor. We have it in a spray. We have it in a candle. We have it in incense. We have them in different sizes. We've got fabric fresheners. And these are going to be a lot stronger than your typical Febreze as well. So this is something that you'll have to use for a while, and they last for a pretty long time. You even got a filter you can smoke out of. So if you have nosy neighbors, like I do.
See, and here's a perfect example of what you're talking about too. But these are eliminators, but still, you've got Twinkies.
Oh yeah, those are candles.
Right,
Yeah.
but still, you
Yeah,
do
but
so many different things. Scented candles, the fruit, Jolly Rancher, make your home smell like a candy store.
Yep, exactly. Yep, so that's pretty much the tour. We have a few different more hookahs back there, but that's pretty much it. Did you guys have anything?
Great tour.
Thanks. Yeah, and we're growing. We're expanding over into our other area as well. So you guys want to walk back? We can go back up here. Our last little section to kind of cover is just where we keep our highly sought after items. So our elf bars, our peanut bars, our raspberry, all of those are going to be over here. I'm going to get shipments of these multiple times a week. So these are definitely our most popular products is over here. And this is the best part. We even have Japanese Skittle candy. So these are going to be pops that look like slushies. We just got these in.
The one that I saw earlier that I showed you,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
shrimp and seafood chips.
Look, lemon fried chicken Pepsi. I just want someone to try this, like, for real. Tell me how it is.
Chicken and waffles now goes to chicken and soda.
But lemon Pepsi?
I don't know.
Not the biggest fan of it. And then we also have our jungle products as well. We're getting those back in today, so we will have more of the cuts and of the whole leaf options.
So of course, as you can see, you need the product, you guys got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whatever
we really...
it might be. And you know what? If you have an idea, I'm sure you can reach out to them and they can find a way to get it to you.
Absolutely. That's what we
Behind
do
the
every day.
scenes.
Yes, yes, yes. So hopefully that was able to give you a nice little understanding of all the products that we carry, and how our operation works. It's a pretty in-depth operation from soup to nuts. I mean, we try to be as innovative as we can possibly be with how our warehouse is run and what systems we use and what products we carry, and try to make as most people happy as possible every day.
Well, like I said, the whole time we've had you guys, company website down there, the phone number.
And that's my personal cell phone, so you'll be able to reach me directly at that number.
And I'm telling you, you've got any ideas, suggestions, you're looking for a product, reach out to her. She will point you in that right direction, get it to you one way or another, and make sure it's what you need for your consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do.
Absolutely. So, Sam, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
Listen, if you don't come here and get your orders in, you won't get your startup. You can get your startup right here. Right here.
Well, the thing is, too, as you've already noticed, they already do the research to make sure they got the companies that have the COA so that you can protect yourself, which is vital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is important to know what you're selling and to have confidence in that, and to know that you're treating people in your community as well as you possibly can. So that's what we want to focus on, is best products to make the best people.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna get my list together so I can put an order in.
I like it.
Right?
I like it. That sounds great.
And the thing is, we still got to take you out there and let you kind of look at some more, because
I know.
honestly, as long as you guys are okay with it, I'm sure you are. I'd love to go out there and get some photos to put up on our IG page, on our website, so that people can see this, because running through there was great. But that's a lot for them to digest in that
I
short minute.
mean, top brands
Yeah.
are in there.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking, and they just started carrying Koi, which is one of the biggest brands out there.
And I know it's your
And-
personal favorite.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's the gummy that I've found that I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
It stays consistent. It doesn't dry out. Good
Yeah.
flavor.
I've seen the Mike Tyson bites out there.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's what I mean. Look at this.
Yeah, they're on an end cap. Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and see those.
It's got a piece of his
Yep.
ear taken out on the package.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Well,
I
first
love
and
it.
foremost, I know we've got the website there, but more information of where they can reach out to you and a way to, you
Yeah.
know, like if you guys have say an Instagram page or whatever for your company, so we can get that out there for them so they can follow and see all the new products.
We are on Facebook, and then if anyone wants to be in our newsletter, either email or on WhatsApp, we can do that as well. Text that number below that you see, and then our Instagram is or not Instagram. Our Facebook is under Elements Distribution.
Oh.
And you can get in touch with us there too. Just mention that you saw this show on Facebook, and I'll give you a discount on an order.
Well, and also, like I said, you've got people who didn't get to see this live. We've got it on the Mott's Page Foundation. We've got our YouTube channel. It's on Twitter,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We've got it all over the place. So go back, have people check into it, watch this multiple times, because there's no way you're going to sit there and write it all out. I did this, I did that, I did this.
No
'Cause,
way.
yeah, I mean, we went through it.
Yeah, and this is where I really like helping people, is making sure that they get the right products for that they want, and then knowing that there's substitutions available if
Right.
something is out of stock. Since there are a lot of high demand products, that's one of the things I like to do is say, we don't have this, but we have this, and you know, we like this because, and giving them those options so that they don't go without for their customers, especially in, you know, low stock issues.
Well, you need the options because not everything is going to work for every person.
Mhm.
So you've got to try multiple things. You've got to get the recommendations. You've got to keep moving with that because, you know, you might not like this, but this one you might like a lot.
Yeah.
I've tried at least 5 or 6 different things. Some of them not so much. Some of them absolutely.
Yeah, they're always gonna have different flavor profiles, just like food.
Yep.
You might like one chef, you might not like the other.
Correct,
Yeah.
exactly. Sam, mention to them where you can be reached at and we'll close the thought.
Definitely Big Boy Sam on IG, Sammy Murphy on LinkedIn. Follow Mountain Foundation on all platforms. Thank you for tuning in. You've had a great experience. This is the plug.
I'm the outlet, man.
I mean, I can't thank them enough for letting us to come in here. All the information last week, hands on today. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
And-
Appreciate it.
When they do the next area, we'll have to come back and check out and see how much bigger it's grown.
Yeah, another 6,000 square
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
feet. So we're buying next door too, so we'll be even larger.
That's
Larger than
great.
life.
That's great.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. You know, tell friends, have them reach out, connect with us on all of our platforms. Reach out to me on both Twitter and Instagram at DJNQ75. And man, I can't wait to see what happens here, how we can be involved with them, and you know what we got next week.
I know. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Tune in next week. You'll see.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. See you
All
next
right.
week. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah.